Okay, and we're back. If we look at what they're trying to show you here with these, they're just trying to show you in part A that you have a current going up and to the right, and they're asking you to analyze it at point C over here. And then for part B, what they're showing you is this little point here, ds, would just be like what they would call the little current length. And if you point your thumb in the direction of that current length, it produces a magnetic field at point C that is r distance away. And if you move your attention to picture C right here, what they're trying to show you then is that if you take your right hand and point your thumb in the direction of the current to the left of the wire, your fingers would curl out of the page. So the direction of the magnetic field B with the arrow over it at point C here will be directed out of the page. And then if we look down here, they do that thing where they ask you to, they show you there's 3 loops of current carrying wires. So we're going to have to make a direction for this current. So let's just choose one. I'm going to choose this way. I always wondered why that guy on Khan Academy had such horrible handwriting. And now I'm trying to do it, and I see why his handwriting is so awful. It's not always the easiest to get this computer stuff to work well. But looking at this, what's happening here is the direction of the magnetic field from this upper loop, upper arc, pardon me, at this point would be directed out of the page if you use right-hand rule. And the magnetic field from this little loop at this point would be directed out of the page. So both of these would be out. It is not working as well as I wanted. That's a U, that's a T. And then if we look at the next one, looking at this, the way this one turns out to be drawn with these arcs, if you point your thumb in the direction of the current for this one, we would have this one would still be out. But then when we talk about the current that's going through this little section right here, this definitely produces a current that is directed, produces a magnetic field that is directed in. And if we look at this one here, I'm going to have to shrink this down. There's something that shows up on my screen that kind of blocks it. If we look at this one, this would have a section, again, that big loop would just be directed out of the page. And if we look at this one, this one I'm pointing. If you look at the bottom section, this would produce a magnetic field that is in. But because, I'm sorry, geez. This would produce a magnetic field that is also out. But because this arc here is farther away, it has a much larger radius than this portion over here, then for that reason, this arc would produce a weaker magnetic field. So if we're trying to rank these, which is ultimately what they asked us to do, we'd have to rank these in terms of strength as this would be the first, this would be the second, and this would be the third strongest so far.